You're listening to She's the Business podcast. Often, a lack of authority is the one thing standing between you and a sale. So if being able to sell your services online more easily without any sales outreach or any of those icky tactics or hardcore marketing sounds like something that you'd really love, then please stay tuned to hear about how having authority is the easiest, most simple way that you can stand out and avoid price competition in your business. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and in my 23 years of business and marketing, I've built many brands to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And just in the last 10 years, I've built 2 online businesses of my own from my dining room table with 2 little babies running around at my feet. I've made it my mission to inspire you to get out of your own way and become the successful business owner who's living the lifestyle you really desire without all the hustle. This is She's the Business podcast, made by women for women. This is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration. Okay, I'm just going to come right out and say it. So this is a bold statement, but if you want to sell services online, then you must be seen with authority. And I think you're probably instantly thinking, what? No, I don't. No, I can sell services. I don't even need to be anything or be known for anything. I can sell a service online. And yes, okay, let's have that caveat. You can sell something. Like I could go and sell lemonade if I wanted to. But if you're wanting to have a business that's profitable, that means that you're actually doing something you love every day and you're inspired by it and you're giving your highest value. You know, you're in that place that it sounds like the dream. It sounds like that ideal, that silver lining in the cloud that we think, wow, wouldn't that be wonderful? But, it's just not realistic, where you're working and what you're doing every day is what you absolutely 100% enjoy with the clients that you love working with. And you just have that feeling of, how did I even get here? How am I even doing this? And is this even possible that I'm doing exactly what I love every day? Or the days that you work, if you don't even want to work every day. And that, my friends, is what I'm meaning when I say that if you want to sell services online, then you need to be perceived with authority. And why is that? What is authority? What does that even mean? Why do we need it? So let's dive into these questions first before I tell you how. So what is authority? Now, I think a lot of people think when you say authority, that means, you've got to be the number one expert. Like you need to be famous. You need to have books written. You need to be like the person that goes and speaks at all these events. And instantly you've probably turned that off thinking, well, that's not me. I don't want to do those things. So I don't want to have authority. Now that's very, very different to what I'm talking about here. What authority really is when somebody comes across your profile, your website, any kind of digital footprint that you've created online that you own, so your content, that you're coming across as someone who knows what you're talking about, that you've got credibility. And credibility isn't once they've read your about page and seen that you've got a degree or you've got some sort of qualifications. Like that's great. You've got a degree. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're good at what you do, right? Can you think of people who've been qualified in something, who've gone and got a qualification and then, they're not wonderful at it? We can all think of examples of that. Even, dare I say it, doctors who have been practicing for many years and have done some terrible things with people because they actually haven't been in their area of expertise. Now, authority, what that means is you can have authority right from the very start of your business. And I'm assuming that if you're in a service-based business and if you're listening to my podcast, you're in my audience, then you've more than likely come from a professional background of some description, like I did, where you've gained skills and experience. You're not fresh out of school with nothing behind you, no experience going into business. So even though your business may be new, you're not new. you are somebody who's got skills, you've got expertise, you've got experience. And when we combine that and actually bring that through in our business presence, the positioning of your business, how you market, what you're saying about yourself, you can have authority that's turned on just as easy as flicking on a light switch. What it comes down to is actually getting really clear and specific about what that expertise is. And this is the next hurdle, because a lot of people don't want to pinpoint their expertise. First of all, we get all the doubts, like, who am I to say that I'm good at this? I'm not the number one expert in the world. I'm probably not as good as other people who are out there. There might be other people out there with more experience than me. We all have those thoughts. I've had them as well. And what I want you to think about, if you're having those, is to ask, well, are there people out there who have less experience than you, who have less knowledge than you on this topic, who have less experience, probably no experience in it? Well, I'm sure you're sitting there nodding and saying, yes, of course there are. And in those people's eyes, when they look at you, you're somebody with experience. You're somebody with the skills, with the knowledge, with the expertise. So yes, you do have expertise. And that means that you can have authority. It just is about you being clear what that is. Once you're clear on your expertise and you're able to communicate it so other people can understand it, then you stand out straight away with instant authority. The way that you're doing this, through your website, through your posts, through your social media, through all of your online profiles, is by communicating that really clearly so that anybody can understand it. And that will draw to you the right people, because your authority, your area of expertise, is not just about one thing. It's not just about what you can do. Because when we only look at the one element, what it is that you do, then that's something that other people can have as well. If you say, well, I'm going to get really, really specific on what I do, maybe you're somebody who's got a specialization in social media, for instance. You might niche down into Instagram. You might niche down even further into Reels and think, okay, that's it. There's my expertise, Reels. However, can you think, well, that could be something really easy for somebody else to have as well. They only need to peel back those layers and go that deep as well. And they're right there in your space. And so the more people are doing this, more people are realizing that they need to become specialized. They're going down to that level. We've got people in all of the different expertise areas, specializations there, and they can then start to sound the same as you. So how do you differentiate? Well, the next layer is in thinking, well, who is it that you work with? Because when you're looking at the reels that you're making, is it the same for every different type of business? And no, while the mechanics of making a reel would be the same, the way that you're putting together a reel, what you're communicating, how you're communicating, what that looks like in the broader flow of your marketing journey is going to be different for different businesses. So here we go. Again, we're able to dive even deeper by applying another layer on there and saying, well, it's actually now who I work with is going to help me specialize even further, because I'm going to know exactly what it is that they're needing to do with their reels to connect with their customers. So you use that to specialize and have authority in a space even further. And then there's one final layer, which is what I call the why you, the differentiator, because you can go that deep and that's great. There's unlikely to be other people with the same specialization as you, with the same exact ideal customer as you, specializing in both areas. But it's possible. There can be, maybe. And so when we can pinpoint out what it is that you bring, what's that value, what's your secret sauce, what is the thing that you're bringing to them, then you're really going to stand out with very, very clear authority, because you've got a unique message. You've got something different to say. You're not going to be putting out content that's the same as other people saying, well, here's the 5 steps to creating a great reel, and here's what to do, here's your how-to. Those things can show that you know what you're doing, but that doesn't give you authority in this space. It just means that you've got skills. It means that you've got knowledge, but it's not to the level of authority. So when we have authority, we're taking it a whole nother step deeper. So you're applying your skills and knowledge. You're working with the right people, so you're understanding their business and how to link those pieces together for them. And then when you add in your own value, your particular method, your way of doing it, that is going to help your clients to achieve their goals, whatever that may be, stand out, attract their right clients, really make their lives easier, make their business easier. Then suddenly this is where you're standing apart. This is what true authority means. Authority is where you're being perceived as a leader because you've got something different to say. You've got something unique. You're not just saying the same thing as other people, sharing excellent knowledge, how to, and the steps, that's great knowledge. You can share that all day long, but that's not bringing you clients. Because guess what? There's other people out there sharing knowledge as well. And, if everybody's out there sharing their knowledge, then maybe people are choosing you because they like your personality. But wow, that's a pretty hard strategy to be reliant on if that's how you think you're going to get clients. What's much easier to draw the right people to you is to stand apart with authority and have that clear space. Have a clear message, have a clear differentiator. Have that thing that makes you, you, and not like anybody else, even in your specialized area, even in your defined space. So this is how you, in this day and age, and our world has changed so much over the last, even 5 years. 5 years ago, it was different. The online world was different 5 years ago. It was very, very different 10 years ago. Today, because we've got so many people, our market is becoming very experienced. We're becoming sophisticated. People are learning every day. We're all learning these skills. Where somebody is at from a business perspective and looking for services is far more advanced than they were 5 years ago. And so this is why having a specialization, but taking it to that level of having authority, is what's going to help you stand out to the right people. This isn't about you getting market share. I think that's such an old thing to be thinking about. Back in the 2000s, in the 90s, we were talking about market share and like needing market share. That's just not a thing now. There's so many businesses in every single market and in every segment of a market, in every niche. It's kind of irrelevant to talk about that. And you don't actually want everybody either, because they're not all going to have a great experience. Your strongest place to be in is where you're operating at your highest value, where you can command higher rates. And that means working with the right clients and probably doing the quality over quantity. Now, we all know what happens when you're in a quantity type of place. Quantity and volume means low quality. That means generalization. That means one size fits all. And that means mediocre, really. When it comes to services, if we're in a one size fits all, generalization, broad brushstroke, this will suit everybody, it means it's really suiting nobody down to a T. It's maybe fitting okay, like, when you go shopping and you find something where there's a one size fits all, you put it on and it's never really an ideal fit. It's like, yeah, okay, it fits because it's made to expand and fit all different body shapes, but it's never going to be the one thing that is amazing, that looks incredible on you, because it's not made to. It's made to fit everybody, which means it's made to fit nobody. And this is the same thing with your service. So this is where we're looking to have, where is your authority? What is your unique message? What are you bringing to us? What are you bringing to the market so that you attract the right clients? You attract those people who are the right fit for you, who are drawn to you because you're the right fit for them. And it removes price sensitivity. it makes price far less relevant because they're not comparing you to someone else. There isn't anybody else that's saying the same thing as you. There's no one else with that exact same mix of what you're bringing to them. And that's where you stand apart. That's where you can be comfortable in charging, the rates that your service is worth. And that's what we call charging your worth. It's not what you're worth as a human being. It's what you're worth in terms of the value you're bringing to your clients. What is that thing what is it worth? And that depends on the service, doesn't it? It depends on whether it's a short-term service, a long-term service, how much is involved in it. There's so many factors that go into it. So, your worth is not, as a human, has nothing to do with the price of your services. This is about what your service is worth. And when you've got authority, when you're in your space, you can command your worth in terms of your services easily, because the right people want what you've got, because you're the exact thing that they need. You're what they're looking for. And it takes a little bit of time, I think, to get there. This is a process that I go through with, all of my clients. This is literally step one of the strategy of any marketing strategy. No matter what stage of business you're at, we start with building and getting very clear, defining the expertise. We sometimes call it your niche. Today I'm talking about having authority. A niche often is where somebody goes to in terms of they've defined their market, but you need to go to those other levels deeper to really identify your specific niche and to have authority. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about niche. I'm talking about getting to that absolute level of clarity where you've got clear authority. Even if your business is new, even if your business has been flying under the radar for the last 10 years and you've just been based on referrals, you can turn on that switch and have authority if you get clear. And taking that step to do it is often the hardest thing, because once you've got that clarity, it all becomes so much easier. So if you've been thinking, well, that's something you really need to do, then I encourage you to, have a listen to what I've shared with you in this episode today. I've given you some really great clues on what it is that you need to look at, the 3 different places that you need to dive into to go to that level of depth where you can have authority. Obviously, if you'd want some help and you actually want the step-by-step method, you want the questions, then this is something that you can get inside my programs such as Know Your Niche or Business Jam. And I'm happy to tell you more about that. If you want to get in touch and send me a DM, then you can do so. But the people that you'll see out there who are easily attracting the right clients to them without needing to do a lot of marketing, just literally sharing what they do, they've got this authority that is magnetic. And that's because they're clear and specific. And that's it. There's nothing else to it. It doesn't mean that you've got to go out there and, have 10,000 followers on Instagram. Well, that doesn't bring you authority. What brings you authority is what they see and what you're saying about yourself, what you're saying about who you work with, and about the value that you bring. That is your authority. You can have authority with, 100 followers on your account. You can have incredible authority. It's not about the audience size. It's not about the vanity metrics. It's not about any of that. It's not about the number of years you've been in business. It's not about your qualifications. It's 100% about you being clear so that somebody can find you and understand that, see that authority straight away. I think that's my message that I have to bring to you today, because this is something that I don't see very often. I see people getting really concerned and worried about how big their audience is and thinking that they need to get to a certain level before they've got authority, before they've got credibility. Yet we've proven time and time again that you can have it if you have clarity in your message. And you can only have that when you've got clarity yourself inside your brain, and often getting to that point where somebody else is imagining the same thing as you when you're using the words, that takes a little bit of what we call it, massaging with your messaging. But you can't get the messaging right if you're not clear first. I've seen so many people try it. They're trying to write their messaging. They're trying to create services without first getting clear on their specialization, on their authority, what the value is that they're bringing. And that just means that they end up being plain vanilla, basically being a cookie cutter of what other people have out there, or having something that's so wishy-washy that nobody really understands how it can help them. And those kind of things never sell. So you want to sell your services easily, then get crystal clear. And this is how you do it. So that's it from me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Friday and your weekend. And I'll be back next week with another amazing interview with a woman in business, and also with some more tips, insights, and thoughts from me. So have a good one. Bye. Do you know what the number one challenge reported by the women joining my Facebook community, My Tribe, said that they were struggling with their marketing in 2021, and in fact, even in 2020 as well? And that was exactly how they should reach their ideal client. How do they even get in front of them in order to build their audience in the first place? That was it. And it wasn't a pick and mix. I didn't give them that answer. It was a free text question. So they could write in there anything they wanted at all. And the number of times that I saw somebody say, how to create awareness, how to get in front of my ideal client and build my audience. So many people just challenged by it. And why is that when there's such an abundance of ways that we can get in front of the ideal client? And I think it's probably that is exactly it. It's so overwhelming, isn't it? What should you do? What should you choose? What are the best ways? Whatever it is that you're doing right now might not be working. And I think it's a great time to sit back, reflect, and figure out what's the right way for you to do it. What are the ways that you're going to reach your prospective clients in 2022? So if that sounds like you, if that might have been what you wrote down in the questions on what is your biggest challenge with your marketing currently, then you're going to absolutely love the new freebie that I've just put together for you. It's called 12 Brilliant Ways to Reach Your Ideal Client. And in it, I share with you the 12, in my view, 12 top ways that you could use in your marketing plan this year to reach a bigger, broader audience in order to attract those ideal clients in to your inner circle, into your, really well-defined audience and become real leads for you. So if you'd like to get your hands on this brand new freebie, then all you need to do is go to jessicaosborne.com/12 ways. So it's 12 ways. Very easy. You can download it there, and this is a little bit of great resource for your planning, for the planning of the new year. See what you're going to change up. What is it that you maybe haven't been doing that you could be doing? And what are those things that you've been doing and they're not very effective, and maybe you're going to drop them out of your plan this year? So please head over, grab the freebie. If you want the link, that it's in the show notes, and let's get you moving on up, having more success with your marketing in 2022.